So today we're going to talk about how to use groups of algebra tiles to model integer multiplication. So yesterday we did integer subtraction and addition with algebra tiles. Now we're going to do integer multiplication, and we're going to use a specific strategy of grouping the algebra tiles. So first, for parentheses -3, it's another way to write 4 times -3. So you should just know that this means the same thing as 4 times -3, or sometimes people wrote 4 times -3 with an X. We don't use an X anymore at this level because eventually we're going to start using variables with an X. So we either use a dot in this class or we use parentheses. So you need to know how to recognize these as both meaning multiplication, because that's how you're going to see it from now on. Now, when grouping algebra tiles, this means 4 times -3 means put down 4 groups of -3. Okay, so this means how many groups, and this means what the groups are made of. And we say put down because the first number is positive right here. So we're putting down 4 groups of -3. Okay, so the first number is positive. So when that first number is positive, you're putting them down, and this is what you're putting down. So we're going to draw a model of 4 times -3 with algebra tiles. And I'm actually just going to show you with the algebra tiles. So here's one group of -3. Remember, red is -3. Or if you're drawing it, you might just shade them. Okay, but we need to put down 4 groups of -3. So here's one group, 2 groups, 3 groups, and 4 groups. Okay, that was pretty easy. 4 groups of -3, and then write down the answer. 4 groups of -3 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all of them negative, right? So 4 times -3 equals -12. All right, now that was when we had a positive times a negative number. This was how to interpret it, okay? Now down here, we're going to move on to this one. -3 times 4 is another way to write -3 parentheses 4. It's another way to write -3 times 4. Okay, so again, we need to be able to recognize both of those mean multiplication. And when grouping algebra tiles, this statement means take away 3 groups of +4, right? So it's a little different. Up here, we're going to put down 4 groups of -3. Okay, so the sign of the first number tells you whether you're putting down or taking away. Okay, so here we were putting down because the 4 is positive, but here we say take away 3 groups because the first number is negative. So the sign of the first number tells you whether you're going to put something down, like up here in positive, or take something away. All right, so 3 groups of +4. So the thing is, we don't have anything to take away. I just have a blank sheet right here. So I can't take away anything. But remember, the trick to that with algebra tiles is we can always put 0 pairs. So we have to put down 0 pairs first. Okay, so since we don't have anything to take away, we're going to put down some 0 pairs. We're going to need a decent number of them, right? So here's 0 pair, 0 pair, right? And we're going to need to put down enough 0 pairs that we'll be able to take away 3 groups of +4, right? So far, I wouldn't be able to make 3 groups of +4 yet. There's one group of +4 right there. So there's another 0 pair. So remember, every time I'm adding a 0 pair, I'm not changing anything because it's just like adding 0. So really, all I'm doing is making 0 look really different right now. So 0 can look like a blank slate, but it can also look like a bunch of 0 pairs put down. So at this point, I've got one group of +4, 2 groups of +4. I'm going to have to double the amount that I have right there. So I'm going to fast track it. I know if I put down 4 positives and 4 negatives, that's like 4 zero pairs. Okay, so that's 3 groups of positive 4. I'm going to do that one more time. Put down 4 positive and 4 negative. Okay, so again, this is just a really big way of saying 0 because I put down a bunch of 0 pairs. Now I want to take away 3 groups of positive 4. So here's 1 group of positive 4, here's 2 groups of positive 4, and here's 3 groups of positive 4. Oh, you know what? And it turns out I put down too many. But that's not a problem. I accidentally modeled this by putting down too many, so I'm just going to take away that, take away that, take away that, take away that. You can always add add 0 pairs and take them away. So that didn't matter. I put down too many, but now I have 3 groups of positive 4, and so I can now take them away. So what does that leave? That leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Again, all red, right? So -3 times positive 4 equals -12. Let me point out that 4 times -3 was -12, and -3 times 4 is -12, right? But the way to model those two things are different. Now what you would draw on your paper is all the 0 pairs, and then you would cross out the ones that you were taking away.